Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another weekly outlook video and the start of a new trading month. Got March coming up. Just got done with February, which was pretty good for me. I kind of wrapped it up with I guess one of my worst trading weeks in a while, which is a bit unfortunate, but you know, the month of February was still a very good trading month in general for me. So anyway, new month, and hopefully, you know, we get some nice trading opportunities this month. All right, so I've already kind of gone through the pairs. Not many things super clear for me, so I've only kind of identified the super clear opportunities, which I'll focus on. All right, GBP, USD, Euro, AUD, and NZD USD are all trades I'm still currently in. Held them over the weekend, so I wouldn't really go through those trades, but I'll just focus on the opportunities that I see that might be potentials coming up. All right, so the first one that we look at is EURJPY. All right, so here we have EURJPY in a very clear uptrend, so I'll only be looking for buy opportunities. We had price push past these previous highs just here, identified on the daily chart. All right, these previous highs just here. It kind of pushed into the level, rejected, and then earlier on this week, I think this was Friday, Thursday, so Wednesday, we had a massive breakthrough with lots of momentum, and it's now kind of a retrace into the previous broken highs. So I'll be looking for on the lower time frames, maybe like the 4-hour or 1-hour time frame, just to see what opportunities or what price does when it gets back to this level. And you know, if I see some nice price action that I like to see, some rejection, some bullish action that shows it wants to go, you know, it wants to continue higher, then I'll look for long opportunities. We kind of have this trend line here as well. I don't know, this, maybe that's not the most valid. Probably something like this, maybe. Cool. So I don't know, we have this trend line as well that, you know, is quite clearly being respected here. So I don't know, you know, I'll set an alert just into the level here, maybe somewhere around this area, because I want to see a nice deep retracement, right? So I'll just add an alert around this level to possibly look for long opportunities. Cool. So if price does pull back into that kind of area, anywhere sort of around there, then I'll just kind of see what price is doing and, you know, look for long opportunities. So that's EURJPY onto EURNZD. All right, so we have price here on the daily chart. You can quite clearly see we've been in this massive downtrend for a while. All right, and price recently broke these lows here on the daily time frame. These lows just here, and it's currently pulling back up, retesting it, right? It closed off very bullishly on Friday with this huge momentum candle. So it's not really the clearest, not really the cleanest price action for me. I'd like to see it probably push into the level just a little bit with weak momentum, so to speak, right? But you can see here it kind of rushed into the level, right? So it depends on how price opens today. If it gaps up and it continues to go higher, or if it just kind of respects the level, shows some rejection around this area, so you know, something like this, some clear rejection, then I'll look for short opportunities, right? So I'll just keep an eye on this, see what it does once market opens later today. I probably wouldn't be taking any trading opportunities today. But you know, I'll just keep an eye on it because I think it's in an interesting area. All right, Euro USD. All right, so we've been in a massive uptrend on Euro USD for a very long time. All right, so until I start to see clear bearish price action, you know, then I'll look for short opportunities for right now, you know, price is currently testing this support area, and it's kind of in confluence with this minor trend line here on the H4, right? I guess you could say technically it broke the trend line, right? If we're being 100% honest. So it kind of broke the trend line here, but it's currently sitting at the level, right? So it's sitting currently at this very clearly defined support level. So I'll just look to see what price is doing at this area. If you know, what I'd probably like to see is it kind of reject and then push higher. It might push higher and reject the trend line and then, you know, kind of drop. So we might see something like that. Or we might very well see price just dip beneath the level, right? And if it does dip beneath the level, come back up and then, you know, show that it still has that bullish momentum, then I'll look for it to retest the level and then look for long opportunities, right? So I'll keep an eye on it, see what it does. You know, again, it's at a very interesting area as it stands, right? So, you know, I just want to see what it does when market opens, right? So if it shows some nice price action that shows it wants to continue its bullish momentum, then I'll look to get long. Otherwise, if it shows that, you know, it wants to crash lower, then I'll wait for clear bearish price action to form and then probably start looking for shorts in the weeks to come. Next on the list is CADCHF. All right, so this one's marked as red because it's quite a ways off from the area I'm looking at, but you can quite clearly see here on the daily time frame we had these previous highs. All right, so we had resistance, resistance, resistance. Every time it hit the resistance, so you can see here, this was a low. At the very first time it tried, it pushed up and formed that resistance, right? Then it pushed lower, but this low is quite higher than this low, right? Then it pushed back up into the resistance area, and then it fell again, but this low is even higher than this low. So it kept getting tighter and tighter, pushing into that level, and then finally, a couple of weeks ago, finally broke past the level, right? We did have a retest here. As you can see, we had that momentum candle that broke through. It did come back and retest it just here, and then we had that momentum move up. But if it comes back into the level for a second take, then I'll probably be interested based on what sort of price action we see, right? But you know, I've marked it as red because it's quite a ways off. We see something like that, then I'll look to get long, right? Once it starts to reject the level, if it pulls back into the level, right? So that's my outlook on CADCHF. USDJPY, right? So we have this very, very steep uptrend that is being formed, right? Even though price has been in this kind of massive downtrend for a while, right? It's, you know, price has been in this massive downtrend for quite a while. But we kind of having this nice bullish price action that's being formed. We also had this long-term trend line that was broken, right? So we had this sort of trend line here. Don't have to be too exact with it, but you can quite clearly see we have market respecting this sort of downward structure here, lower highs, lower lows. But then, you know, recently we broke past the structure and started to form sort of higher highs, higher lows. It's very steep. It could be, you know, and it's not. It could be just a corrective movement until it, you know, to resume the downtrend. I don't know, but for now it looks very bullish to me. If I see a continued kind of move higher, and then, you know, it kind of trickles back into the level, maybe confluence with this sort of trend line on the zone, then I'll look to get long, right? So if I see something along these lines, then I'll look for you know, for some sort of price action to get along on this, right? Equally, obviously, it could very well just continue up from where it is right now, or it could just crash and crash lower, right? Nobody knows. But I'll just be keeping an eye on this, right? So yeah, AUDCAD, right? So AUDCAD is at an interesting area. I've marked it as red, not because it's a ways off, it's only because it's not the cleanest. I'm showing some interest in it because of the area that it's in, right? So we have this, you know, it's been in an uptrend for a while. My bias will be continued bullish momentum. We have this trend line that's being formed, and price is currently at the trend line. There's no clear 100% clear zone for me. I mean, you could go way back in the past and, you know, it's currently sitting at these previous highs here, but you know, I just want to keep an eye on it and see what price wants to do around this area, right? If it you know, if it shows some clear sign of you know, kind of bullish structure, you know, what that might look like for me would be maybe a crack back above these highs here, right? Because that's the most recent sort of clearish zone for me. It's not 100% clear, but if I was to get involved in this, I'd probably want to see price do whatever it has to do around this area, probably dip a bit lower, dip down to these lows or something, crack back above, right? Crack back above, come back, retest, and then I'll look for long opportunities, right? So if it shows that price wants to kind of move higher, then I'll get involved. If not, then I'll just leave this pair alone and wait until it kind of shows what it wants to do. All right, AUDCHF. All right, so this one's a little bit clearer for me. So we have this these previous highs just here. All right, we have these previous highs here that were recently broken. A nice confluence with the trend line as well, together with the zone. So if price kind of trickles back into the level, I mean, it's forming some strong momentum to the downside here, right? Some nice big bearish candles. So if kind of price slows down and trickles into the level, right, then I'd look to probably get long on this, right? So if price kind of slows down here, gets back into the level, then I'll look for long opportunities. So yeah, so something kind of, you know what I'm trying to say, right? Something like that, right? So if it kind of trickles back into the level, then sure, I'll look to get long on this. All right, something like that, right? Trickle back into the level, reject, some nice rejection around the area, some nice confluence, and then I'll look to get long. AUDJPY, same kind of deal. So we currently have this, I guess you call it accumulation area here where price is paused. But we also have these previous highs that were broken, again with this sort of kind of accumulation area here. So I've just marked it up to see what price wants to do. I mean, the trend line's not the greatest, but we have our two touches here, right? So I'll just keep an eye on it, see what price does if it pulls back into the area. And if it presents any kind of bullish price action, then I'll look to get into continued and, you know, hopefully look for that continued move long, right? Because we've been in this uptrend for quite a while. So obviously, as usual, my bias will be to the upside. And then last on the list is NZDCHF. So we have this kind of zone here, these previous highs, right? And I guess you could probably pull a little trend line in here as well, something like that, maybe. I don't know. You know, I always say I don't pay too much attention to trend lines, right? I just kind of like to have them loosely drawn just to see if they line up and kind of give that extra bit of confluence, right? But you know, if price kind of pulls back into this area here, right, something like this, then I'll look to get long, depending on what price does. If it gets back to this level, right, if it shows signs of bullish structure, then I'll look to get long on it. Yeah, and I think that's pretty much it, right? That wraps up all the kind of clear opportunities that I'll be looking for. We have a few pairs like in the GBPs that are you know, that are given, probably gonna give some nice opportunities, because we have this GBP/JPY that's been in this long bullish structure for a while. So I'll probably wait for this to retrace a little bit and get some nice buying opportunities, right? To just get involved in some continued bullish momentum. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the week. As usual, if you made it this far, thank you for watching. Obviously, if you like what you see and you're not subscribed, feel free to subscribe and join me on my my trading journey, right? So yeah, I'll catch you guys probably midweek or end of the week for the recap video. All right, see you later.